Alrighty everyone, welcome back to the live stream here on Let's Build Twitter. So as always, it's Ethan, and we are trying to finish up work on the messages page. So here's what we got going down today. We basically had it set up so that whenever we come in here and we set up this guy, we can actually remove people. I'm not going to. There is a weird bug going on whenever you create like a message with a single person. So if I like go in here and make a message with just like Morty and click on this, click next. So that time it worked, but sometimes like if you and that's interesting that it opened it up. So like sometimes if you see it like duplicates this. So there's like some weird logic going on here where it's like breaking this. I don't know what's going on. But if we refresh, it's back obviously. And then like if I message Morty, say like hey, whoops, hey Morty, and send this, it changes it, or it changed one of these, this one, it changed this one, and this one also changed. So there's like, I wonder if it's like an ordering issue or like something, but there's like something weird going on in our context or our Redux slice whenever we're like updating these messages and creating like single. So if I create a group of people, so I create another group with like Rick, and then Morty, and maybe it does break with the group, I don't remember, and then Summer. It's like this one, the groups are working. I don't know what's going on with it, but, and then you can see this one also got duplicated. So like there's something strange going on. I don't know what's going on, but anyhow, what we're going to focus primarily on today is getting the searching done. So you can see this is kind of how Twitter works now. It has these little cards. Actually, these aren't the cards. So basically what it's going to look like if we come and open up Twitter real quick. Let me pull this over. So if we search in here, you can see this is what it looks like by default. So we're going to set this up. And then if you like search like hi, it'll pop up like 13 messages. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to pull this back over. And then that's basically like the last thing that we have to work on in here. I already started on this obviously, because like if I go ahead and like look up RI, interesting. This was not happening yesterday. Undefined reading conversation users. This was not happening yesterday. What is going on there? But the messages, search RI. Okay, so we have an issue. Message conversation card. Okay, we'll figure that out. So if we put like R for Rick or S for Summer, I don't know why. Maybe this has an S in it. I'm not sure why that one's message to Rick. SU. So now Summer shows up. So I think RI, it looks like it's the message conversation card line 40 or 43. So we can look into that. But basically today we're going to be styling this, making it look good, and then I'll also probably debug the issue with the those conversations like updating incorrectly. But let's see what's going down. Excuse me, let's see what's going down inside of our not settings. What do we call it? Search results. And we can delete this. We don't need this anymore. So on our search results, so it's probably so those are filtered conversations. I don't think it's a conversation string. I think it says filtered messages. And let's see here. Gotta be the filtered messages, right? If I comment this out. Take a look again. And we are still importing it in there. So let's go ahead and delete this. We're not using it, but we're still importing it because Twitter changed. Okay. Now if we look up Rick, R-I, yeah. Summer. So it does not like something in here. Or these filtered messages. Specifically does not like this. Maybe it's not finding the conversation properly. That's gotta be it, right? Although, oh yeah, that's probably it. Maybe I messed something up. But conversation.conversation ID is equal to message.message ID. Let's see here. We go ahead and do this. And do this like so. And then let's go ahead and take a look at console.log the included messages. Save that. We can go ahead and undo this now. Oops, it should be not broken anymore. So now if we look up RI, still breaking. Included messages, message ID, message to Rick, message ID 4. It doesn't have a conversation ID. That's the issue. Why does it not have a conversation ID? Let's check this. And this was working yesterday. So what's good with this? Message ID. Yeah, these don't have conversation IDs. I'm just realizing. I thought this was working yesterday before I got off. So it's curious. Go to our messages. Conversation. Let's see. The one with Rick. Go into our conversation messages. Message. Yeah, this doesn't have a conversation ID. Interesting. Why does it not have a conversation ID? I guess what we're going to do is we're going to add a conversation ID whenever we map through these. We're going to say interface message search results extends. I don't know if we can do this. Extends a message, and then we're gonna have a conversation ID of a number. Can you do that in TypeScript? It looks like you can do that in TypeScript. And then what we're gonna go ahead and do is when we create all of our messages, filtered messages, so we're gonna need to map these first. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Whenever we do this, we're gonna have conversations.map. Let's say, whoops, const messages is equal to conversations.map conversation. And then we're gonna have to return. But then we need to also map through. We're gonna also have to return conversation message dot map, right? Message. Then we're gonna have to return dot message, and then we also need to go ahead and have a conversation ID is equal to conversation ID. Okay, and then let's just console.log what these messages look like. Now then we have to double loop through all of these messages or flat map them or something. So now if we look up RI, it's still gonna crash. Oh, it doesn't crash, okay. An array of arrays, that's what I thought. But it doesn't have the conversation ID. It does have the conversation ID. Okay, so that's good. And apparently we're rendering all of this. Okay, whatever. Because we didn't do one of these. Fix that real quick. Okay, so now basically we'd have to do like then this is kind of like an ugly way to do messages dot for each message array, and then message array dot for each. You could probably flat map this or do some sort of map for this, but it is what it is. So then we can go ahead and say all messages dot push, and then go ahead and push the message. Now we have our all messages again. Double check this, all messages. So this is like a really ugly way to do this, but it is what it is. Let's just actually do included messages. And I don't know why this wasn't breaking yesterday. It's like strange to me that this was breaking yesterday. So now we have an array with the message ID 4 and conversation ID 2. If we look up HI or H, this one has what time tonight, who are you, hey Morty. Okay. So I think that's working now. We can undo this. I don't know. That's strange that it was working yesterday but not today, but what can you do? Sometimes it'd be like that. But I think now we're ready to now we have who are you, what time tonight, no messages. Put like S, summer shows up. Okay, so now what we basically need to do is we need to make these message search results conversation card, and then the message other things. Or look over on Twitter. Basically the conversation results is like a box with either the profile picture or the whatever this guy is. I need to figure out how to make this slightly bigger probably, but we can work on that. And then it's basically just like the person's name, like a max width and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and deal with this. I might also extract some of this stuff, we'll see, but we'll do the conversation results first. So go ahead and make a message search results conversation card, message search results conversation card.tsx, and then message search results conversation card.css. This is pretty simple. So now if we go ahead and click on this guy, import React from React, and then let's go and import our // and it's going to be message search results conversation card.css. Then we're going to have an interface, which we don't need an interface for this because I think all we need for this is to basically select the conversation and display the conversation. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to go and say conversation or const and message search results conversation card dot is a react.fc, and this will just go ahead and take in a conversation. If I could type conversation, okay, and then let's go ahead and open this up, break apart the conversation, and then do one of these. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and return a div with a class name equal to message search results and conversation card. And then inside here, basically all we have is like the profile picture of the message. So there should be like a message conversation image. I don't know if it's that, or there's like a conversation, the user info. What's this look like? Conversation user info as a profile picture. So it's not going to be that. What else do we got in here? Conversation container, conversation message, selected user, not user card, I don't think. I don't think it's a conversation image. So like if we go back into the search results, the message conversation card. So there should be, let's see here, message conversation picture. So that's what it is. Okay. Let's yoink this guy. And hopefully we can make the size of this different. I'm sure we can. If we come back into our message, what do we, right here. So we're going to have one of these. We need filtered conversation users. So let's go ahead and come back up here, I'm assuming. So let's see here. Filter conversation users. And maybe this is what's going wrong with it. I don't know. So let's go ahead and throw this in here. I know we're copy and pasting some stuff. It'll be fine. Okay. And then let's see here. And then finally, we'll go ahead and have, let's see. We need to actually set that up. So let's come back in here. And it's not that. So is this one maybe? Here we go. Like this. Okay. Like we need logged in as well. Let's grab const logged in. Whoops. Const logged in equal to use selector or state root state state.user. We're also gonna need const navigate is equal to use navigate, and this will be like that. I think we are gonna need dispatch as well. Const dispatch is an app dispatch equal to use dispatch, because we need to update set the current conversation. Okay, let's go and import use effect and use state. Come on. Use state and use effect. Then we need to import the user. Go and import our user from our global interfaces. And there we go. So now we have this guy. So I think I want to be able to override the size of this. Because if I inspect this and we search for these, gonna be difficult to get a size on this. Unfortunately. Okay, it's gonna be impossible to get a size on this, so although it looks like it might be this size, so it looks like it's gonna be like 52. So let's go into this message conversation picture. And let's see what's going down in here. So basically, it's just a div with a background image. Or another div with a background image. Okay. So if I put a size on this, like an optional size, make it optional. Kind of annoying the way I'm going to do this. Put an optional size on this. I can throw it in the style for all these. Do this. Do this. Do one of these. And just clean this up a little bit. So now in the style, how do I want to do this? What's the default size on this, I wonder? If I come in here. Default size is 4040. I might have to just like set like the default size. How do we want to deal with this? Maybe we just like const and const size properties or something. Const PFP size properties is equal to size question mark. And if we have it, we'll do this. Otherwise, let's do an empty object. And then here we can say height is going to go ahead and be backticks $, curly brace, size px. Width is going to be backticks $, curly brace, size px. And then I wonder if we can do one of these and say like PFP size properties, comma. Seems like it works. And then the other thing with the conversation picture, or which one was this? The other thing is the message conversation picture PFP. We need background size on. So like, oh great. Sorry about that. Thought I'd heard a noise, but maybe it's just the dishwasher running. All right, back to this. All right, so let's look at this again. So I think we actually want the style on this style equal. What the heck was that? Dot dot dot. PFP. Okay, I heard a weird noise now again. I don't know what's going down. Okay, so we'll override that. And then the PFP, we need the background size to change. So actually, needs to be like picture size property. It's a sprinkler. Let me be right back, y'all. All right, I think we're good now. Okay, so back in here, I'm in here. So the conversation picture is the one with the width and height. And the conversation picture PFP is the one with background size. So you will say PFP const PFP background size is equal to size question mark. We'll do one of these, one of these, one of these, and then it was like let's go back in here, background size, doing this, right? And then we can say background size is gonna be backticks, and then this would be $ curly brace size px, and then $ curly brace size px. And then we can do the same thing here. Copy this, delete this, paste that. We can do the same thing on all of these. So if we include a size, we'll override the size here. Go ahead and do this, do this, do that, then style, we'll go ahead and say .EFP background size. Right, and I think what we'll actually do here is we'll just delete this, and if there's no styles, there's no styles type situation. And then we need to do the same thing on this style as well. So if we do one of these, and then do one of these, do one of these, and then we'll say EFP background size, comma this, and that should break that apart. Okay, so fingers crossed that works. I don't know if it will or not, but fingers crossed. And that needs to be 52 by 52. So now if we come back into here, right, we can go ahead and throw a size on here, equal to 52, otherwise we'll default to the other size, like so. So now let's just see how bad this looks if we come back. Let's actually finish this real quick. So we have that bit. Let's fix this up. This is ugly. And then basically we have the conversation name, which how do we do the conversation name? Let's see. So we need the message conversation card, I believe. So for the name, we just say message.conversation name. No, we have a generate conversation name, which comes from, I'm assuming, let's see here, utils, yeah. So let's go ahead and grab this. Maybe. Here we go. Let's go ahead and grab this. Let's bring this in here. So now we can go ahead and say how do we do it on this guy? We just call it. Whoops. But what do we do here? Do we store it into something? Looks like we just call it. Yep, okay. And the question is, do we yoink this? I'm not sure what this is doing for us, to be honest. Oops. I really don't 100% know what this is doing for us here, but I'll yoink it anyway. Okay. So now we'll do one of these, paste that in. And then that'll go and generate that. And I don't know why we have filtered conversation user.length less than 2. I mean, maybe there's a difference in this, but I'm going to go and get rid of this. I'm just going to rename this to be a little bit simpler. I don't think it matters. Famous last words. So now this can be message, search, results, conversation, card, name maybe. Generate the conversation name, and that uses the filtered uses as well. Okay, and then if I look in here one more time, it's got, so this is where it matters, I guess. So we're gonna just use here. I don't see one. This is gonna be interesting. I'm not in a group with like multiple people, and I'm wondering if it just displays like the first user's name. So this generate conversation name might not work properly. We'll see here. We might just say YOLO and keep it as is. But then we have like either this is the one that it'll say div last name equal to message search results conversation card, and then what do we want to call this? Not really a subtitle, it's like I'm gonna call it people. And then here we're gonna need logic where it says like filtered conversation users dot length is less than 2 question mark. So then if it's less than 2, then we're basically gonna go ahead and display. I'm thinking about just straight up doing this, and then this will be like the filtered conversation users of 0 dot nickname, I suppose. Otherwise it's gonna go ahead and just be like how many people are in it. So otherwise it'll go ahead and say like filtered conversation. Actually no, we want all users, I think, because I think we want to include ourselves here. So this will basically be like conversation users length, and then it'll say people, like so. That's kind of how that works. Whenever I search again, now we need to make sure that whenever it overflows it does, and this needs an @ in front of it, like that. So that's basically all this is. And this is going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. But we can fit 4 on here. A little bit of space on the sides. Okay, so we need to be able to fit 4 in this section. Now, I think this is 448. Twitter's is 438. So we have a little bit more space actually. Okay, so basically we need to be able to fit 4. So it's going to be about 100 pixels wide each. Okay. So we go into our search results. List search results. So now for conversations, we'll go and delete this. And we might still pull this out. This is message. What do we call this? We call this message. Did I not export this? Did I export this? I did not export it. Okay. Try again. Message. Search results conversation card. Conversation is going to equal to the conversation. So we can do the same thing here. Copy this guy. And paste them here. Now keep in mind that 1, we don't have the flex setup on this yet. So it's not going to work properly. So we should probably style that as well. But let's make sure this conversation card works first. So if we come back into our conversation card, copy this. So we know the width is going to be about 100 px. Now height, I have no idea. And everything's just going to be stacked. So for width, it looks thinner. No, it's taller. Let's say height like 200 maybe. And just see how it looks like. Height 200 px. And then we'll display flex this. We will flex direction this in the column. We will justify content in the center, and then align items, flex start. See how that looks? Okay, and then we probably need a little bit of padding or spacing. We also probably want padding as well. So padding top gonna be really hard to see. So let's put a padding top and bottom on this guy of like 16. So we'll say padding 16px0. It's impossible to actually get a good like what it's supposed to look like. And then we need this conversation card name. So this one is allowed to like overflow. So here, we might want to make this like a p tag. I don't know. Make that a p tag. Okay. And then we'll have a margin of 0, padding of 0. We probably want some gap here. Let's throw on a row gap, I think. Row gap of like 8px. Okay. So now this is pretty small. And it's like 14px. Font size 14px. Then font weight is 400. And then here, I'm thinking about making this a p tag as well. And we need to make sure that, I think it's like word wrap. So this one specifies whether UA may break within a word, prevent overflow. Word break, specifies line break. The word wrap, we'll say break word, and word break, we'll go ahead and break all as well. Okay. Let's break that, and then we'll do message search results, conversation card people. So this one is also pretty small. I think this one's actually smaller. So margin 0, padding 0. I'm gonna say font size 13px. Again, I'm just guessing because I can't get a good reading on this. Font weight 400. Color is gonna be compound 657786. And then here, there's like a text overflow, right? Text overflow. We want ellipsis. Let's see if it actually works. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I can never get it to work properly. But we'll see here. Okay, so that's basically everything in here. Now if we go back into message, that should be fine. This also needs a hover effect on this. Card hover, cursor will be pointer, and then the background color will be RGBA 000.1. So, okay. And it breaks. Terrific. Not read nickname. Interesting. Come back in here. So it does not like nickname. Why does it not like that? Maybe we need to say username. I think username is what we want anyway. Still can't read username. Let's look at filtered users, I guess. What's going on filtered users? What's going down with this? Click on this. Empty array. Why is it not filtering? Conversation, conversation users, filter. Let's hide this for now, I guess. What is going down with this guy now? Guess everything is just going wrong today. Conversation users. Filter u.userid not equal to logged in.userid. Like, what is going on with this? Look at the conversation coming in. Quick. Okay, so this didn't quite work the way that we wanted it to, but it's fine. Entered the wrong way. That's an easy fix. We flex start and center. So looks better. This is too big. Also, I think this might have a rounded edge on it. It does. This doesn't look bad. We just need, this is too tall and needs some rounded edges. So let's also go ahead and throw border none on this, border radius like 12px on this, and then let's also make this like 150. 200's a bit too tall for this. Looks better. And that's kind of how it acts as well, so that's good. Now, the thing is, what is going on with the conversation? So conversation, what is this? Is this the users? It is. Nickname Rick. Username Rick Sanchez. We take a look at this conversation. Conversation users. And then here's our filtered conversation users, I think. Right? I'm assuming here's our conversation. Conversation, colon, and then our conversation users. Right. Let's clear this. Did I not clear it? Oops. I do it here. Cool, it doesn't do anything. That's what I wanted to see anyway. Okay. Click on this. Conversation users. Yeah, it's all there. So why is this breaking? Okay, so conversation 3. Getting no conversation users. Okay, interesting. So we need to go ahead and say we need to wait for the conversation users to be loaded in, I think. So we'll go ahead and say like if, whoops, if filtered conversation users dot length, whoops, because there should always be is less than 1. Let's just say equal to 0, whatever. We'll return null early. And then this won't be an issue here because we won't get to this point unless we have conversation users. And we want nickname here. Or wait, we want username here actually. Now if we click on this, cool. None of these are overflowing, so it's hard to tell. But that's kind of what that's supposed to look like right there. Now we need to basically stack these side by side. And yeah, so these look good though. We need to deal with this conversations on the top there and all of that good stuff. So we come back into our message list search results. list search results, conversations. So I'm thinking maybe we share list search results, message list search results. What do we want to call this? Result container, maybe. And then this one will also be result container. Try to share some CSS here. Copy this. Now, I think technically, like, there might be a max height for this with 100%. I think I'm just going to like if I search, definitely like a max height for this, right? Like bring this down. I know you guys can't see this. There we go. Search. Looks like it does have a max height. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it. Height is just gonna be fit content. We'll probably display flex this. Maybe add some padding to the top just a little bit. I can't tell how much. Padding top, maybe like 24 px. I don't know why I did it that way. Let's add the padding top here. Padding top 24 px. We'll go ahead and flex direction this in the column because we want this one to stack. We want to, how do we want to deal with this? We'll justify content in the flex start and align items probably in the flex start, like so. Probably fine. Okay, and then we need the title. So this is pretty small. I'm gonna say margin 0. Whoops, margin 0, padding 0. I'm gonna say font size like 14 px. Font weight probably 400. And then color is pound 657786. And I want to actually, no, I think I am reusing that, so I think that's fine. Okay. And then here, this one is where things are gonna get different. So conversations content is definitely going to be different from the other one. So here with 100%, like so. And then I don't know if this needs a padding or not. And maybe we do want a padding on this. Ooh, that's kind of strange how it does that. I'm not making it look like that. That's ugly. But basically, Twitter, what are we doing? There's padding on one side but not the other. I don't know what Twitter's doing there. We're going to display flex. We will justify content in the center. We'll align items in the center. Flex wrap. Whoops. Flex wrap. Set to wrap. Okay. And then maybe there's a gap of like 8 pixels around all of that. And we'll kind of see how this looks. We should start to be able to see some stuff going on now. There we go. Looks good. Now the thing is, I think we do want this to be slightly thicker. And I think there is too much space. This looks good spacing wise here. Yeah, it's gonna be an issue. Too much space here, but I don't know where that space is coming from. The search results. So let's see. Might be this. Try this. Still too much. If we do this. Still a lot of spacing here. I think this is too much spacing yet. And I don't know where. I don't know if it's it might be this padding top. See, where's this prompt at? Keep coming down. No, I don't think we're even using the prompt. Where's that prompt even coming from? Container. Title. Like, I don't think it's a title. I don't even know if we're using this. Let's see if I comment this out if it looks different. Let's double check this title. I'm gonna bump this to like 500 just to see. It might be this padding top actually. Padding top might be too much. That looks like now. That looks better. Conversations also looks better. Now I want some padding on the left of this. This does look kind of silly. We might have to flex start this one. We might have to do the flex on the other one actually, we'll see. But let's also add padding 0 and then maybe 8px if there's some on the right. It's fine, but I want some on the left. Looks better. We might even need a little bit more than that. Like 16. 16. And then keep this center. And we'll flex start this one. It's going to be slightly different than from Twitter. But that's fine. Okay, there we go. Now the only issue is this gap doesn't look great. Now the gap's like opposite of what the other one looked like. Kind of stinks. What if we space evenly? Looks better this way. What if we flex start here? No. Okay. We almost need to like wrap this list again. I'm about to just say YOLO and keep it as is. Either that or we could do, let's just add padding to the container. We can say like adding 16px, right? Get rid of this and flex start this and align this in the center. We might be able to get away with this. We can, but that's too much. No, we don't have enough space on the side. So we might need to bump this down to like 8. And then add the padding to 0 and then 8px back to this. There we go. I like that. There's still a little bit extra space on this other side, but it is what it is. To clean that up, what we could do is basically just bump the row gap up to like maybe like 10 and see if they all fit. Like that looks a little bit better. Still not perfect, but it is what it is. Okay, so there's that. Now I need to style this stuff, but our conversations are working now. Cool. So now that part looks good. Come back into our search results. So now we need to do the card name. So let's go into the card name. Oh, I did the card name. Okay, maybe we do want 15 and then 500. Because like not thick enough or something. No, that's way too big. So let's stay at 14. That might look better. Looks a little funky. Doesn't seem centered, even though it should be. Might be this guy, I'm not sure. But like these guys are definitely centered. It might just be the way this is, or the word wrap. Like what if we don't break the word? Like what if we get rid of this? How does it look now? That makes it worse. Now that's like really... Oops. Okay, so that makes it worse. And that also breaks this. How do we want to do this? Honestly, I might say YOLO. Say whatever. The other thing we could try is not align self. Font. Text align. Try to text align center this. There we go, looks better. There we go. Cool. Okay, so now let's do the messages. Now whenever we say like hi or W like this, we want these messages to pop up. And this is basically the message card with a specific text in it, is all this is. So we don't want this to show up, and we also want the date of the message. I don't know why it's saying September 20th. There's something scuffed going on with our date, because it's obviously not September 20th. So basically this is... We need more messages in here. Like another... Oops. Another message to Morty. Go like... Another message in the group chat. And these are probably all scuffed. I don't know why it's saying September 20th. Like, I don't know where it's pulling this date from. But what I'm thinking is we cheat a little bit. And we literally just use this guy. Except we just highlight the message, right? This doesn't have what we're looking for. Refresh this just to make sure. This also doesn't have what we're looking for. Okay. This is a big group message. How are you all doing? Just testing the message search capabilities. Cool, and that's broken again. You love to see that. I fixed that like a million times. I don't know why it keeps breaking. Okay. We need to figure out why it's saying September 20th. I don't know what's going down with that. But now we have a bunch of messages to search. So basically, if we just say like ME, you can see that there's some stuff that is showing up that we don't expect to show up. Also, it seems like this is going over top of that, so we need to deal with that. But now basically what we'd want to do is, I'm just gonna basically show these, but we want to highlight the text that we're searching for. So if we come into, and this is basically cheating, but I don't really care. We come into our conversation card. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is how does this work? So text content, right? So we can pass in custom text content. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna say custom text content, the JSX.element. Array, I guess. Because you have to convert it to, I love that. And then this will be question mark. If it exists, whatever. And then we'll have our custom text content. And then what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to yoink this. And let's see. We're going to come into here, I believe. Yeah. We have all of our messages. We're going to come into this here. And I'm literally just going to paste this in here. So we're going to go and take this, import that, import that. Now our text content is going to be whatever this message that we found is, right? So, how do we want to do this? So it's literally going to be message.message content. The post content is going to be message dot. Let's see. Delete this. Now it's going to be message.message text. We'll take that. And then that should be fine. Except I did this. We don't want to return this though. Want to do this. Now we have our message elements. like so. So we have the content that we want to display. We can go ahead and delete this bit. Don't care about this. And honestly, we can delete this as well. Delete this. Come over here and we can go ahead and pass in that custom content. So let's say custom text content is going to be equal to this message elements, like so. And then we come back into the message conversation card and we check to see if there is a custom text content. Then we'll go ahead and return that custom text content and not deal with all this. Now, the thing is, I think it wants us to highlight. So, or we could just say YOLO and not highlight it, which I'm also game for, because I think highlighting it's going to be a pain in the ass, to be honest. ME, and we have our messages. That looks fine to me. Because like what it wants us to do now is also like loop through basically and add a highlight to this. And I think if we click this, it should open it. Maybe. I don't think so. So I think whenever we're clicking off of it, we have an issue. Because this should be, if we click on this, end of conversation clicked. There's no E stop propagation though. E, so react.mouse event on an HTML div element. If we can stop propagation here. So click on this. I don't know that it's selecting. Yeah, it's not selecting it. So now that's going to be our next issue. Is that whenever we click off of this, it's closing out of the search. So like we need to hold the search open until we're done like messing with it, because like in theory that should we might also want to hide the options icon. It looks like options icon use state boolean. How do we set this? So it's on whenever we hover over it. I might throw display options boolean question mark const. Let's see how we want to do this. We might want to default this to true. And then set it to false. Let's default that to true. And then we'll set to false. Oops. If I could do what I'm trying to do here. Y'all getting whiplash, I'm sorry. And display options. And then if we come back into our search results, display options is going to equal the false. We don't want to show the options. Okay, so now the issue is think everything looked good, right? Like ME, this all looks fine. The problem now is we need to be able to actually click on this. But whenever we click inside the search area, it like scuffs everything. So we go into our messages page, where this is all kind of set up. So let's see. Messages page. So it's in the message list. Okay, so searching, toggle searching, set searching to not searching, update search content, clear search, message list. So how I'm guessing whenever we click on the search bar, yes, and we click on the search bar, it handles that. So what is causing it to unsearch? Is my question. When you click off the search bar, is it doing something? Check the search bar. So handle bar clicked. I'm assuming that, yeah. That's what I thought was happening. So we could add an optional like unfocus on blur or something. Let's see what happens here. We'll set this to true by default. And then what we'll say is whenever we blur, we'll check unfocus on blur question mark. Otherwise, we'll just do nothing and see what happens. Huh. Still unfocusing. Shouldn't be calling search bar clicked though. Let's see what's going on with this. Go to our console. We click on this, search bar clicked, obviously. We need to delete a bunch of stuff. Search bar clicked. Search bar clicked. Yeah, so whenever we're clicking outside, it's still doing the focus. Oh, you know what? Because in here, I need to go ahead and say unfocus on blur is equal to false. So we don't run that. Now if we search, yeah. But now we have no way of I guess that kind of works. Now we need to like do like a click outside to call searching to false. How do we want to deal with that now? I mean, the other option we could do is keep this. I think we still probably want to set active to deactive and like all of that stuff and close out of it. But we want to do it after we do all the other stuff. So, and unfocus on blur. And then we come back in here. We still keep search bar clicked here. I think we still want to clear the data and stuff. Because like whenever we search, now it's scuffed. Terrific. Search bar clicked. Okay, so that's not working then. I wonder if I can check the focus event. Do have to do a blur event. Const search bar deselected equal to e react dot. I don't think there's a blur event. There's not. E dot. There's a native event. I don't know if that's going to help us. Let's see. The other thing that we could do is just create this const search bar unclicked. Search bar deselected. Set up the focus event on HTML input element. And gridded this, gridded this. Take this out. And I guess we can still set it to nothing. Handle search bar clicked and unfocus on blur. Then we can call handle search bar clicked with an E. And then we'll kind of keep the same logic. I don't love the duplication, but it might be the best bet for us. Now in blur, we call search bar deselected. Then it'll only close out of it after the fact. It's like what we could do is whenever we click on a message. If we click on, and these are the same, that's fine. We click on this, it goes here. Then after we click on that, what we could do is, let's see here. So now what we got going down, we're gonna need to do some custom logic inside of here probably. Like what we might have to do is we might have to throw a, so we have our message conversation card. We might have to like slap in a like close search or something in here. Like we might have to do like a close search. So React dot, which is a function, takes an e React dot mouse event on HTML div element, turns void. Right, we might just need to like wrap this. Close search. And then what we can do is, this might break things. But let's just see here. What we can do is wrap this. Ooh. Shoot. This might break everything. We might need to pass in a custom handler as well. Don't be mad at us because obviously we're not using that. That's fine. So now we need to pass in that close search, which doesn't need to be. We might not even need the event. We can probably just pass it this. What we can probably do is probably just pass it to toggle searching. So here we'll go ahead and say close search equal to toggle searching. And then what we need to do is we need to pass these into these guys, right? So we need to pass the custom click handler to our message conversation card. And this is getting messy, so we're probably going to need to create the interface, message conversation card, props. So here we have a conversation. We have our custom text content, which is an optional JSX.element array. We're going to go ahead and have our display options, the Boolean, and then we're going to go ahead and have a custom click handler. Takes in this, like so. Okay, and this is also optional. Now we can delete all of this jazz. Clean this up a little bit. Message conversation card props. Go ahead and pass in the custom click handler. And then whenever we handle conversation clicked, we can still call this, still dispatch this. And then if we have a custom click handler, go ahead and call that custom click handler. Easy as that. Which should in theory close out of the searching. Now if we click on this, it does exactly what we thought. ME, I don't know if we went to the right one, so we go to Rick and Morty. Okay, now we need to be able to click on these guys as well. So now if we come into our search results again, so we don't need the dispatch in here. We're not going to select the conversation here, but we will go ahead and do we not use this anymore? We've got to be using it. I don't know why it's saying it's not being used, but now in here, we'll go ahead and say close search equal to close search. And we'll add this as well. Paste that in. Message search results, and then this is going to be conversation card. We need to add in that as well. Let's go ahead and delete the conversation, delete that. Okay, and then we're going to pass in interface message search results conversation card props. We'll have a conversation, and we'll have a close search, which is just a void function. Go ahead and pass in this. We have our message search results conversation card props conversation and close search, and then we'll have a const and select conversation. The react.mouse event on HTML, HTML div element. Do one of these. I don't know if we do need navigate. Let's try to just dispatch. And I'm guessing it's like select conversation or something. Yeah, select converse. Well, it's not. Shoot. Let's call this conversation clicked. I think select conversation. Yeah. Now I don't remember what we need from this. Space FG select conversation. So that says undefined, and this passes in the entire conversation. Okay, so I don't know why we have a double going on here. Oh yeah, okay. Pass in the conversation. Go ahead and do that. We'll also say e.stop propagation. Why not? E.stop propagation. Then after we select the conversation, we will go ahead and I don't think we need to navigate. We can delete that. We're going to say close search. That one's required. And then now, whenever we click on this card, on click is going to equal to conversation clicked. Let's go and open up that conversation. We don't need to navigate anywhere, I don't think. Let's see. Now we come in here, we search Rick. Okay, it's scuffed right now. Let's refresh. So we would search like Rick. Yep, it works. Click on this, click back. Okay, I think that's everything good to go there. Now we need to figure out what's going down with this stuff. Like also like why is it September 20th and all of that stuff. So I'm gonna open up dbeaver and see what's going down with our dates here. So I'm assuming this is coming from our dates. Open up my program files, dbeaver. Let me open this up real quick. And we'll just spend the last 20 minutes or so debugging. I guess we could technically set up the search in here as well, but I'm not that concerned about that one, to be honest. Okay. So we're going to Fwitter DB databases, Fwitter DB database, schemas, public, tables, and then our message table maybe. Okay, so it has the correct sent at date. So the date is just scuffed. So let's go into our message card and see what's going on with the date there. So message conversation card. So what's going on with this date? Oh, I'm just straight up not doing it. So what if we say new date message.sent at. Oh, you know what? Okay. So okay. Const display date. Set display date. Go to use state. String. Okay. So const last message is equal to and maybe we try one of these. Right, and then otherwise we'll say null. We don't want the text, we just want the message. Let's get rid of this. Now we have our last message. So if we have a last message, how do we want to do this? Does our conversation have a created at as well? Conversations. As a created by, not a created at. Okay, we probably want to create it at. So that means if we go into Java, source main Java com Fwitter models conversation created by. Okay, I don't remember how to make a timestamp. Let me double check this. Spring data JPA. Create timestamp. We might be able to use. I don't want to use that. There was an easier way to do this. Looks like you can use creation timestamp. That's directly from Hibernate. I don't know if I want to do that. The other thing I can do is just set a new date and date time. So, and maybe I'm thinking of like a different whatever. At column name, it could be conversation created. Okay. This will be a private date time. I think we have to say local date time, right? It's been a minute since I've played with Java. Local date time. Conversation created date. Sure. And then whenever we create this, say this dot conversation created date is equal to a new date. Or new, let's say new local date time. How do we do this? I'm so bad at Java. Java create local date time today. Dot now, okay, is equal to local date time dot now. It's been a hot minute since I've messed with Java. Go ahead and create a getter and setter for this. Public. Oops. Public. Oh, my daughter's moving. We might have to call stream a little early today. Local date time get. What do we call this? Get conversation created. Forgot what we called this. Conversation created date. Get conversation created date. Turn conversation created date. Public void set conversation created date. Return, and then not return this dot conversation created date is equal to, need to set it in there, local date time conversation created date. So then it's going to be equal to conversation created date. Okay, and then we can go ahead and do new string hash code and equals. So let's do it and delete these. Space CF. Go ahead and generate a toString. Go ahead and include everything. Okay, go ahead and do a hash code and equals. Once again, include everything. Okay. Oops. Okay, 1 second, y'all. Alrighty, y'all. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and make sure that, whoops. That's fine. It's broken. Okay, now let's go ahead and make sure that one, we restart our backend application, which I'm pretty sure it did. And then two, in our front end, we need to go into our global interfaces. Utils and global interfaces. We're going to go into our conversation. Whoever our conversation is, conversation user, conversation. This does have a conversation ID, but it's just not getting set, I guess. And we called this conversation created date. Go ahead and add in the conversation created date, which would be a date. Make sure we add that. Now also, we probably want to make sure it's actually coming back whenever we create the conversation. This is broken right now. All messages might be broken. Yeah, okay. So, when you go back to our message conversation card. So, let's just go ahead and do this. So we don't have sent at. Do that so it's not broken. I want to make sure we're getting back the creation date. We didn't break anything. So if we come in here, say Morty, let's go ahead and say Rick. Okay, next. Our network. Preview, conversation, and created date does exist. Perfect. So now what we can do is, whenever we come back into here, we have our last message. So if we don't have a last message, we'll go ahead and say null. And what we can actually do, we can say last message date. Okay, we can say dot, and then this one would be sent at, and then otherwise, this would be conversation dot conversation created date, right? And this is not a great way to do this, but it is what it is. And then we can go ahead and do, just say const date is equal to new date, and then pass in that last message date. This is probably going to look ugly AF. And we can say set display date to, and then that date dot to string. We might want to put the date string or something. I don't know. We're probably going to need to use one of our date utils to make this look nicer. But we should have something there, and now we can come over here and let's just see and pass in display dates. We should have something at this point. And we don't. Terrific. Let me guess. Display date. Too many re-renders. Interesting. What would be causing that now? Doesn't make any sense for the date to be causing that. Is it the display date? Why is the display date causing that? That's a strange one. Why is display date causing it to... Let's just see here. Which part's breaking? Let's see if see if this is working. I might need to pull this into its own thing. Okay, so that's working properly. So it's this set display date. What do we get in here? This is blah, 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 I can't talk. That's not what we want. But why would that be causing an issue? I guess let's do this. We'll just do one of these. Get this out of here. Paste that in there. Then we can return date.toString, I guess. Whoops. Date.toString. Does that fix it? Or is it still rendering too many? Yeah, that did fix it, but obviously that's really bad looking. So now, do we have a date util? Look at our utils, our date utils. So get months, get days, get years, get day of week, stringify birth date, stringify date, stringify full month and year. So stringify time, stringify full date, schedule date. I think thing is Twitter's changing constantly. Like, I'm wondering if we can't utilize. Looks like we can just use like slashes. And it looks like they like did a little bit of changes as well. Like, I'm wondering if we just use stringify date, honestly. And just call it a day there. This is a DOB object though. Which means I think we have to have like the full month. I think so. We go into here and look at DOB. And we need to break the date apart. Yeah, month, day, year. So let's come back into our date utils. Let's just use this. It's going to be slightly different than what Twitter does. But at this point, I don't really care. Come in here. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we need to return this stringify date. Go and import that from our date utils. Const DOB is equal to month would be date.get month. Whoops. Date.get month. Say day date.get date. And then year date.get full year. Then we go and pass in DOB here. And that should be fine. Except this is off by 1, so we're going to say +1. Like so. There we go, that's better. So that's not exactly what they do, but it's good enough to me, honestly, like, because the thing is, it looks like it uses slashes unless it's like X amount of days ago. So now if we go ahead and say like hello, we're not going to see much of a difference. But like basically what we'd actually want to do is see like if it was less than a day ago, it's probably supposed to say like X amount of days or whatever, but I don't really care. We're just going to do that. That's fine. Okay, so that fixes that issue. Now we still have the issue with whenever we create a single, so if we go into create and then do like Rick, for example, let's actually do one that's unrelated. So let's do summer. So we create a message with summer. That seems like it worked. Okay. So I wonder if now if we make one with just Rick, whoops. We make one with just Rick, what happens? Select Rick, next, create it with summer. Okay. So what is going down here? So we have message, update conversation users, message open, message open. Go to our message, conversation, conversations, 1, 2, 3, users. I'm assuming this is a rendering bug. Let's check our list. If we go into our message list, we're watching for conversation. We're not watching for conversations to change. But I don't think that's gonna matter. Okay, so I need to go ahead and probably hop off here. Because I'm running out of time. But I'm gonna go ahead and see like what's going down with our conversations whenever we're creating like new ones. Because it seems like whenever we create a new conversation, you can see that even though we have conversation 3, 2, 1, these aren't updating properly. But it looks like the conversations are correct. Let's do a refresh really quick. We refresh. We have our conversations. We create a new conversation. Let's just go ahead and say, I don't think mom is an option, but we'll just say do this one. Right, so now there's 2 Ricks in this one. We look at our conversations, 4, 1, 2, 3, and those are proper. So it's like, I think these are proper anyway. Let's just double check this one, this top one. So conversation 4 with 2 people. Okay, conversation 3 with 2 people, Rick and unknown coder. Conversation 2 with 2 people with Summer. So yeah, this is like a rendering bug inside the card itself, possibly. So like the message conversation card, because the conversations are correct. And we were to console log the conversation in here. Let's see what this says. Back to our message list. Delete that. And I think I need to go ahead and end stream because I think my daughter's awake. So, appreciate y'all for watching. I'm going to go ahead and continue working on this off stream here. Hopefully get it done. And then next week we're going to be recording. So, thank y'all for stopping by. See you in the next one.